27 minutes on to the 7 o'clock hour. And this is where I say good morning to you, Grenada, Carrier, Kupiti, Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Everybody needs a little help sometime. It doesn't matter who you are. The help that you need might not be identical or similar as mine, but we all do need help sometimes, yeah? No man is an island. No man stands alone. It's Good Morning Grenada for today, Tuesday, the first day of July. Yes, it is. Thank God that you've made it through thus far. You've already made it through the first half of 2025, and trust Him. He will let you, He will assist you, He will help you, He will carry you through the second half. And maybe even better than you think. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's classic on a good looking Tuesday morning. Yeah. God is good. Did I hear somebody say all the time? It matters not what you're going through. Trust me. And I know what the struggles are. I know the struggles of life. But guess what? Nothing is a surprise to Him, yeah? All part of His plan. Not intended to make you bitter, but better. Good morning to the world, to the folks on the Sister Isles of Carriacou and Pity Martinique. Good morning to you. It's 25 minutes on to the 7 o'clock hour. Nice. Good morning, Lauren Salim. Out there in Hermitage, good morning. Good morning to all the students who are graduating today at the Hermitage Government School. So many graduations on at this time. Good morning to my dad, Joe. How are you doing? Miss Annie and the entire household, good morning to you. Yeah. Golf course, good morning. Roger, how are you doing, Papi? Hoping all is well. It's 25 minutes on to 7. The word of the day, that word today is resolute. Resolute. R-E-S-O-L-U-T-E. Resolute. Yeah. You're writing it down, right? Resolute. That's the word of the day. And it means determined and unwavering. Determined and unwavering. Here's how we can use that word in a sentence. She was resolute in her decision to pursue her dreams. She was determined. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to become. I'm going to fight all the odds and be just that. Whether it's a medical doctor or whatever. Nice. I've got this quote from my good friend, and it says, let me get to it. It's always good to start the day with something positive. Welcome July. New month, new chapter, new page, and new wishes. May the month give you courage, strength, confidence, patience, self-love, and inner peace. May every day in July fill your days with hope, love, sunshine, and energy. Let there be joy, fun, and laughter. Thank you. I claim these. Yeah, it's time for me to start smiling again. The pressures of life sometimes they really do overwhelm me. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know about you. Do you have a perfect life that every day it's all nice and dandy and all, Well, if you're such of that person, well, you're over blessed. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, and without partiality and without hypocrisy. Nice. Is my forever friend. I don't know about you, but There's a song, when I call on Jesus, all things are possible. Yeah, that's so very true. That's so very true, man. And I'm just thanking the Lord this morning for life, you know.
Is dedicated to Lucy.
To me too.
King.
Arise. Yeah, arise. It's a new day, new beginnings, new possibilities, new endings. 22 minutes on to 7. It's classic. A good day to have a good day in a good way. Thank the Lord. Yeah.
Yes.
Mama Ken, good morning.
Lift your voice and sing.
The quote of the day. Nadisha, this is for you. Strengthen your mental resilience. Now, life can throw curveballs. Build mental strength by tackling obstacles head on and learning from them. Let me repeat this. Strengthen your mental resilience. Okay? Be strong mentally. Tell yourself that I can do this. I can bounce back from this. I can get over this. All right? Because life can really throw you some curveballs. Now, you got to build your mental strength by tackling the obstacles that come head on and learn from them. That's the secret. That's the secret. You got to do that.
This song.
That was your motivational quote of the day.
Thomas King.
Arise.
Thank the Lord.
What a way to start the day, Thanking God for life. Waking up on the, being on the wake up list this morning, that in itself is your first blessing of the day. Black Adan talk about blessing as a real blessing. Scholar said it's horrors, not blessing, it's a horrors. Morning, Finley. How you do, you and the family? Hope everything is fine. Yeah.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
If you're struggling, be hopeful. Be prayerful. It works out in time. Trust me on that. Give the time some time. What's buzzing this morning? Buzzing. All right, Grenada mourns the loss of a renowned music producer, Shem Felix. Man, the spirit of death is really hovering. We had some losses, man. Again, my heart goes out to Moyaki and Lady Cheryl. Lady Cheryl was supposed to be on the program this morning, but and that's the narrative you gotta push with your children. You understand? When children get themselves in this sort of behavior, delinquent behavior, whatever it is. Now it's not just them that are being affected. Okay, you've done what you do, and you're who's behind that? The ones that are, and it's not just the family of the deceased. You understand? The other family is losing someone as well, man. Come on, parents, let's show our children good life habits. You know what I'm saying? So that's buzzing. Shem, good morning. Not Shem, but the family of Shem, man. Also buzzing, Caribbean leaders to converge in Grenada next week for a critical workshop on climate resilient water management. In the region, Barbados' government is not taking too lightly the latest travel advisory issued by the U.S. Internationally, the U.S. lifts sanctions on Syria in a bid for peace. And in sports, Grenada set sights on CARICOM 10K Glory in Jamaica. And also Team Windies and Australia, they're here. Yeah. Grenada, please. Not just for the visitors, but let's be on our best behavior. Not asking for perfection, but just the best that you can be. I want to be the best person. Like, oh man, I got so many flaws, you know. Sometimes I sit back and I look back at my life and I say, but where did it all go wrong, you know? The folks who know me would say, you know, Miss Joe grew up the boy good. But life happens. You understand? I still have to be thankful because it could have been so much worse. So if you're thinking that your situation is the worst, don't feel special. No, as Janelle would say, don't feel too special. You feel overwhelmed in debt. And I'm not talking D-E-A-T-H, I'm talking D-E-B-T-S. Debt. You're not alone. You understand? Just praise God. Hey, I'm getting carried away this morning. In any case, folks, the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather comes up after these messages. Don't you go anywhere. I just feel I could stay and talk life and uplift someone's spirit. So to let people know that you're not alone in what you're going through. In everything, give thanks. Pastor Laurie Dominic, good morning to you and the First Family. Sister Narika, good morning. Folks, the AM edition comes up after these.
Looking to shop online from your favorite stores like Amazon and Shein? With GPC Global, it's never been easier. Get your very own US address and shop from around the world. With GPC Global, you can order the latest trends and must-have items, all delivered straight to Grenada to your closest post office for your pickup. We offer the cheapest rates and our service is reliable and quick. No more waiting for weeks for your packages. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Join the Grenada Postal family today and start shopping smarter. Visit us online at www.grenadapostal.com or call us on 437-POST. That's 437-7678. GPC Global, your gateway to the world.
I'm ready to defend my crown. I, Guana, will be performing live, defending Carnage Soca Monarch. All they think a little curry meet me on the stage. July 25th, 31st, and August 8th. Meet me on the stage.
We wild, we in style. When you see me chilling on a branch by myself, no company, no friends. Oh my gosh, I stumble. When I meet till I tumble, woman coming up uncle, wanna come from me jungle. Oh my gosh, I stumble. When I meet till I tumble.
This is the GBN Morning News for today, Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. Coming up in the news, Grenada mourns the loss of renowned music producer Shem Felix. Caribbean leaders to converge in Grenada next week for critical workshop on climate-resilient water management. In the region, Barbados' government is not taking too lightly the latest travel advisory issued by the U.S. Internationally, U.S. lifts sanctions on Syria in a bid for peace. And in sports, Grenada set sight on CARICOM 10K Glory in Jamaica and Team Windies and Australia in the Spies. We've got the details to these and more after these messages.
Grenada for decades. We are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wire and accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada and St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
Good 1st of July morning to everyone. I'm Gordon Josephine with the details. The music industry in Grenada is mourning the passing of Shem Felix, known as Build the Vibes. Felix, a celebrated music producer, now lives behind a legacy that resonates across the country. He was renowned for his creative genius and distinct style, with hits like Take It to Them and Get in Your Section, performed by the famous Was Ways. Felix was more than a producer, building emotions, memories, and movements through his music. He was cherished for his joyful spirit, laughter, and love for family and friends. His passing is a profound loss, but his legacy will live on through his beats and the lives he touched. Felix will be remembered for his talent, light, and love, leaving a lasting impact on the island and the wider soca community. The GBN extends its deepest condolences to the family and friends of Shem. High-level officials and experts from Caribbean small island developing states will gather in Grenada from July 9th to 10th, 2025 for a crucial workshop on strengthening water resources management amidst climate change. The event, leveraging SDGs 6 for accelerated water investments in Caribbean SIDS, aim to share national challenges and solutions focusing on improved water governance, ecosystem health, and nature-based solutions. Organized by the UN Environment Program, Global Water Partnership Caribbean, and Grenada Climate Resilient Water Sector Project, the workshop seeks to drive political climate commitment and investment strategies for governance, reform, and sustainable infrastructure. Participants will work to enhance coordination, protect freshwater ecosystems, and prioritize nature-based solutions to address pollution, water security, and climate impacts. The event will support participating islands in strengthening their capacity for integrated water resources management and promoting actions for a more resilient water sector. Grenada is hosting a national dialogue from July 1st to 3rd in collaboration with the Global Environment Facility, or GEF. The event aims to strengthen Grenada's capacity to manage GEF resources and raise awareness about environmental funds. Key discussions will involve government ministers, international development partners, and civil society organizations focusing on environmental programming priorities. The GEF has provided $37 million in grants to Grenada over 30 years, with the country also benefiting from $685 million in GEF financing. The dialogue will focus on protecting coastlines, strengthening agricultural systems, and preserving biodiversity. The event will conclude with the launch of a national interim steering committee and field visits to ongoing environmental projects, paving the way for a sustainable future for generations to come. The Parliament of Grenada joined global legislative bodies in commemorating World Parliament Day 2025, highlighting its role in upholding democracy and representing the people. In a joint statement, the presiding officers reflected on Grenada's 51-year democratic journey since independence in 1974. They noted significant milestones, including a 32% female presence in both the House and the Senate, and increased youth engagement with 17 elected youth parliamentarians. The Parliament reiterated its commitment to transparency, inclusivity, and reform, and thanked members, staff, and the public for their role in strengthening democracy. On this Global Day of Reflection, the Parliament pledged to remain a beacon of dignity and democratic progress, ensuring every citizen's voice shapes the nation's future. The statement reaffirmed the Parliament's vital role in Grenada's democratic institutions and its dedication to ongoing reform and progress. And finally, on July 5th, 2025, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique will celebrate the International Day of Cooperatives with the theme Cooperatives, Driving Inclusive and Sustainable Solutions for a Better World. This year's event is significant as it falls during the United Nations International Year of Cooperatives. The Grenada Cooperative League Limited has planned activities including a cooperative fair at the Esplanade Mall courtyard on July 4th. The public can also participate in a Co-ops Day trivia on the League's Facebook page from July 7th to 31st to win prizes. The aim is to raise awareness about cooperatives and their role in promoting economic and social development, particularly for marginalized groups. That concludes the local segment of news. Stay with us. The regional and international developments, along with the sports and the weather, they're straight ahead. In the region, a U.S. travel advisory prompts a strong response from Barbados' government. We have more on this report in this OCM News report.
Barbadian authorities are saying that there is yet another fake report aimed at attempting to tarnish the country's image. The authorities are referring to a decision by the United States to issue its highest travel advisory, warning Americans not to visit the Caribbean. Foreign Affairs Minister for Barbados, Kerry Simmons, says there is no basis for this fake news story going around. The minister finds it deeply unfortunate that these types of things are happening. He says people obviously go out of their way to try to destroy the image of the country. The United States Embassy also issued a formal statement indicating that Barbados remains at level 1, exercise normal precautions, the lowest level of its 4-tier travel and advisory system. Earlier this month, the Barbados government described an online video commenting on the country's foreign policy with the United States as containing information which is false, misleading, and wholly fictitious. The statement from the Office of the Prime Minister categorically denied claims made in the report against United States President Donald Trump.
And looking further afield, the U.S. has ended sanctions on Syria, aiming to support the country's transition to stability. The sanctions, which blocked foreign financing, were imposed on Bashar al-Assad's government. The White House will monitor the new government's actions, including normalizing ties with Israel and addressing terrorism. Syrian Foreign Minister Assad al-Shabiani welcomed the move, saying it will aid economic recovery and open the country to the international community. The decision is seen as a significant shift in U.S. policy towards Syria. The U.S. hopes that by lifting sanctions, Syria can rebuild and move towards a more peaceful future. The White House claims Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney backed down from a tax on U.S. tech firms due to pressure from President Donald Trump. After a Sunday call with Trump, Carney agreed to drop the tax, which Trump called a blatant attack. In response, Canada halted payments and will introduce legislation to scrap the tax. The move comes amid trade tensions between the two countries, with Trump previously threatening to raise tariffs and calling off trade deals negotiations. The decision marks a significant shift in Canada's stance on the issue. And finally, the Trump administration accused Harvard University of violating civil rights laws by neglecting concerns of Israeli and Jewish students, potentially jeopardizing its federal funding. A letter to Harvard alleged deliberate indifference towards students who felt threatened on campus. Harvard disputes the findings, citing significant strides to combat discrimination. The dispute is the latest in a series of battles between Harvard and the White House, with escalating stakes over the past few months. Harvard strongly disagrees with the government's claims, setting the stage for a potential legal and financial showdown. Harvard's funding is now at risk. That ends the regional and international news. Stay with us. The sporting highlights are straight ahead. Good morning, sporting fans. Grenada is gearing up to participate in the NASAC Age Group Championship, a prestigious international competition that brings together young athletes from North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. The goal of the event is to promote athletic development, cultural exchange, and competitive spirit among athletes aged 11 to 14. In cricket news, the West Indies team is preparing to face Australia in the second test of their tour of the Caribbean. The teams arrived in Grenada yesterday, and the hosts will be looking to bounce back from the 159-run loss in the first test. Shea Hope and Roston Chase made promising returns to the first test, scoring 48 and 44 runs respectively. However, the team's star performer was undoubtedly Shamar Joseph, who took 9 wickets in the first test. The West Indies team will be looking to improve their performance in the second test, particularly from the new look top 4 of Craig Brathwaite, John Campbell, Casey Carty, and Brandon King. The team has a good record at the St. George's venue, with all 3 victories in tests played there being by the side batting second. In other news, plans are underway for Grenada's participation in the CARICOM 10K in Jamaica. The 10 kilometers run, 5 kilometers run and walk will take place on July 6th, preceding the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM. The races will kick off at 6:30 a.m. from Montego Bay Convention Center, with warm-up scheduled for 6 a.m. The winner of the 10K race will receive $1,000, while the second and third place finishers will receive $500 and $250 respectively. That's the sports at this time. We'll have more sports for you during our luncheon edition, and of course in our major primetime newscast. Stay with us. The weather forecast is straight ahead.
Whether you're refreshing a bedroom or giving your home a bold new look, the Color Shop has the perfect paint and tools to make it happen, inside and out. With quality finishes for every surface and accessories to match, we make painting easy from start to finish. Whether it's a DIY weekend or a contractor starting a brand new project, the Color Shop is the trusted choice.
weather forecast. We join forecaster Tricia Miller at the forecast desk at the MBIA. Good morning, Tricia.
Good morning to you and good morning to you listeners of GBN. It's a fair morning here at the airport. Winds are from the east at 10 miles per hour. Barometric pressure 1015.4 millibars, which is above the mean and it's rising. Present temperature 26.8 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity 83%. Yesterday's maximum temperature was 30.5 degrees Celsius and the minimum temperature last night was 25.3 degrees Celsius. Over the past 24 hours, 3.1 millimeters of rainfall were recorded here at the MBIA. The total rainfall for the month of June was 76.2 millimeters. Now the public forecast valid for today and tonight for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. The weather is expected to be mostly fair but hazy with light morning showers. Winds east northeasterly to easterly at 12 to 22 miles per hour. Today's maximum temperature is expected to get up to 31 degrees Celsius. Seas moderate, waves 5 to 7 feet in open waters. Tides will be high around 8 a.m. and low about 2 p.m. Sunset this evening at 6:36. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 5:46. So just to recap, the weather is expected to be mostly fair but hazy with a few light morning showers. From the Met Office, Tricia Miller.
Thank you very much, Tricia. Have yourself a wonderful day now.
Thank you. Same to you.
Folks, the weather forecast came to you with the kind compliments of Rennick & Thompson Company Limited. It's 5 minutes after 7 o'clock. To end the news, a recap of the headlines. Grenada mourns loss of renowned music producer Shem Felix. Caribbean leaders to converge in Grenada next week for critical workshop on climate-resilient water management. In the region, Barbados' government is not taking too lightly the latest travel advisory issued by the U.S. Internationally, the U.S. lifts sanctions on Syria in a bid for peace. And in sports, Grenada set sights on CARICOM 10K Glory in Jamaica, and Team Windies and Australia is in Grenada for the second test. That has been the morning edition of news for today, Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. On behalf of the entire news department, I am Gordon Joseph, thanking you for viewing and listening, wishing you a productive day, and extending that invitation to you to stick and stay with the network, because we are with you anywhere and everywhere. The traffic report comes up at 10 after 7. That's 4 minutes away. Stay with us for that.
Bang, well, you know, my name is Boogie B. And this is my partner here, Little John. Well, you know what's going on? GBN have a big thing coming up on the Canada. I want to beat Little John. And I'm going to beat Little John. You can't beat no anything that is dollar and roti. Yeah.
Yo, you know what?
Bring me down the road.
Yo, let me sing the tune.
No song. Tell him bring his song on the Carnage. I have a meeting.
Alright, but you don't know, GBN Spice of the Carnage live. Don't forget this year, 2025, Boogie B, Little John. Yo, mass.
I'm going to be there. He's going to be there. You don't miss it.
The way them girl getting on ya, they making me hunger. I don't know how long I got that with on. They shaking their bumper, they raising me temper. And right in the center, girl I feeling a pain.
Served Grenada for decades, we are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wire and accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada and St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
Mobility, a common theme woven into the very fabric of human history. From ancient wanderers to modern explorers, our instinct to move, to seek something greater, and to grow has always driven us forward. Imagine a journey into pathways of boundless opportunities and endless possibilities. A collective future where the vibrant rhythms of the Caribbean, rich culture, and welcoming community create unforgettable experiences. Beyond citizenship by investment, we believe in our collective investment of time, resources, and energy that fosters innovation, creates jobs, and enriches lives, driving the growth of an entire nation. The Investment Migration Agency Grenada boasts over a decade of exceptional service and remains committed to guiding you toward global mobility and economic freedom through investment. Your journey becomes our shared story of progress and prosperity. This is an invitation to be part of something greater, something enduring. Begin your journey at imagrenada.gd. IMA Grenada. Unlock the possibilities.
Attention all divers, snorkelers and underwater enthusiasts. Effective May 15th, 2025, all visitors to the renowned Mullinaire Underwater Sculpture Park will be required to pay a small fee of US $3.50 or EC $10 per person. These fees are essential to support the ongoing maintenance and repairs of the sculptures, as well as the development of new features to ensure the park remains a world-class attraction. Payment can be made through the Grenada Tourism Authority's online payment portal, available on the Pure Grenada website, www.puregrenada.com. We thank you for your support in enhancing this extraordinary underwater product. This announcement is brought to you by the Grenada Tourism Authority and the Ministry of Tourism, dedicated to protecting and conserving Grenada's resources for the enjoyment of all.
Freedom is driven to pursue that passion that keeps you up at night and makes you smile in your sleep. Freedom is bold to embrace the possibilities that can open up your world and conquer new heights. Freedom is fabulous, with bits and pieces that enhance the quality of your life. Freedom is what you do with the flexibility to change path or direction when you need to. Freedom breeds ambition and purpose while having loads of fun along the way. But most of all, freedom is well-deserved for the road traveled and the journey still to come. Unleash your freedom with Nexa Credit Union. Call us on 440-1354 or visit our website to pre-apply. Apply now. Freedom awaits. Terms and conditions apply. Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Fly the Jones swoosh, it's Lava Man, and you already know the energy. It's all about GBN Spice of the Carnage Soca Mona competition. This year is going to be greater, bold, and more exciting than ever. And it's all about the quarterfinals on the 25th of July. The 31st of July will be the semi-finals, and the August 8th finals. Artists, if you think you have what it takes to own the stage, now is your chance. Get there, be there, see you there. Lava Man, the real mad one. Fly the Jones swoosh, GBN Spice of the Carnage Soca Mona competition.
Well, folks, it's 12 minutes after 7 o'clock. We now join Corporal Troy Paul from the Traffic Department of the RGPF for this morning's traffic report. Good morning, Corporal Paul.
Good morning to you and also to your listeners as well. It is a pleasure to be a part of the program for yet another morning. And it is Tuesday, and I'll give you a traffic report. This morning, the traffic is rather light. as we said, but going smoothly through all the roads, nooks and crannies of the streets of Grenada. We have no accidents to report at this moment and no obstruction. However, we start seeing little traffic in the area of the Caribbean heading onto the Toby Road. Brandon seems to have a moderate flow of traffic at the moment, and we can safely say that persons who are traveling on either of those roads can get to the destination safely and on time. We expect a little build-up as we get closer to the 8 o'clock, not the rush that we expected. This is a week where school closes, so we know a lot of the buses are not moving as they normally would do to travel children through. So we expect a quiet day today, especially this morning, but we know we cannot take things for granted. We still expect persons that if you have your time to get to work, please do so and leave the time in another way to get to work on time. Yes, I just want to touch a little on obstruction this morning. I know persons would park the vehicles along the roadway with any regards for other road users, and these things cause major obstruction along our roads, especially around our busy times. And there's a lot of places that I can call, but I won't this morning, and these persons know who they are. If you are one of the persons who park your vehicles along the road without any regards for other road users, remember, you're committing an offense, one, and secondly, your vehicle can be towed, clamped, or you can be ticketed for the offense. But the major disaster it causes major traffic obstruction and congestion. So think about it before you park your vehicle. Think about the other driver. Think about the mess you're causing on our nation's road. So let us rectify this problem. Reporting for the past 24 hours, we had a total of 9 minor accidents. No injuries reported in those accidents, and that is a good thing. But however, 9 accidents reported for one day in the Tri-Island state of Grenada is still too much. So drivers, I want to encourage you to continue to drive safely. Let us not be distracted while you're driving. Let us get to our destination safely. The situation still remains in Grenville along the Benjamin Street, which leads onto the Canal Road, where NASA is continuing their work. Persons are advised to drive safely and reminded that the area would be no parking until further notice. We have come to the end of the inspection period. So persons who have not yet inspected a vehicle, you are driving an unlicensed vehicle, and you can be charged for the offense. And this week we expect West Indies cricket team to be in the island. We have a test cricket starting on Thursday, so we expect some traffic updates, which we will give once it becomes available, so that persons can know where they can pass in the event of the cricket game being played. So stay tuned for more information as we get closer to that test match on Thursday. And that will be all for our traffic update this morning. And I want to thank you and your listeners for listening this morning. And I hope that we get to our destination safely and on time as we get to our work or various locations.
And just before you run off, I want to ask you that question. If you're texting,
then who's driving?
Yes, you don't drive and text. Corporal Paul, thank you very much, and extend our gratitude to the members of the traffic department and by extension the RGPF, and have yourself a work-filled day.
And thank you, and to your entire team as well.
Okay, folks. All right, thank you, folks. That has been this morning's edition of the Traffic Report, coming to you collaboratively with the RGPF, and hopefully we'll have another one tomorrow. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back after this.
Climate change is real.
Grenada for decades. We are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wire and accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada and St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
Looking to shop online from your favorite stores like Amazon and Shein? With GPC Global, it's never been easier. Get your very own US address and shop from around the world. With GPC Global, you can order the latest trends and must-have items, all delivered straight to Grenada to your closest post office for your pickup. We offer the cheapest rates, and our service is reliable and quick. No more waiting for weeks for your packages. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Join the Grenada Postal family today and start shopping smarter. Visit us online at www.grenadapostal.com or call us on 437-POST. That's 437-7678. GPC Global, your gateway to the world.
Whether you're refreshing a bedroom or giving your home a bold new look, the Color Shop has the perfect paint and tools to make it happen, inside and out. With quality finishes for every surface and accessories to match, we make painting easy from start to finish. Whether it's a DIY weekend or a contractor starting a brand new project, the Color Shop is the trusted choice.
legacy. I beat that, don't stop like Bob Marley said. One love on top. DCUH water out of sight, but it's always wrong, don't lose the light. From factories and wells so deep, corals, mangroves and fish they weep. Green water for the garden, keep it green. Save the cash and the earth gets clean. We use the water with a mindful mind. It's out of sight but never far behind. In nature, the answers always flow. Like water running pure, the cycle grows. It renews itself, same drop, same beat. It's all good, man, you got the heat. Water flow, no clean water, no vibes they grow. Protect our water, protect our future.
Time to go.
I'm ready to defend my crown. I, Guana, will be performing live, defending Grenada Soca Monarch. All I think a little curry meet me on the stage. July 25th, 31st, and August 8th. Meet me on the stage.
We wild, we in style. When you see me chilling on a branch by myself, no company, no friends. Oh my gosh, I stumble when I meet till I tumble. Woman coming up bungle, wanna come from the jungle. Oh my gosh, I stumble when I meet till I tumble. Woman coming up bungle, wanna.
Welcome to the conversation this morning. It's 29 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we do apologize for that slight delay in the commencement of the program, but nonetheless, it's all good. I'm joined by my good friend, I think a relative, not just friend, Mr. Dave Ned, but nonetheless, it's not a relative thing this morning.
A friend.
Yeah, there's a friend. And this morning, he's representing the Independent Caucus of Independent
Caucus or Constitution
Reform. Okay. Now, Constitution Reform is a big issue in Grenada now. And we had several attempts at constitutional reform. However, we're at where we're at, and we are where we were.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us from your organization's perspective, what's stirring up? There a lot of talk in the media. Dr. Francis Alexis Casey, King's Counsel, is making some pronouncements. I'm seeing a lot of conversations with him and you at Lane and everything like. What's going on?
Okay. Good morning to you again, Innocent, and good morning to the nation, all the listeners out there, and good morning to my colleagues who are listening in also. Constitution reform should be always on the burner, and it should be a concern for every single citizen, because some of the most important decisions that are going to be made that would affect you and the way you interact with the government and the implications for your children and their children are being designed, they're being implemented in some instances, and that design and the implementation should always be at the control of the people. Whereas the people, it must always reflect, every single time, it must reflect the will of the Grenadian people. And we have to guard this zealously, simply because there are many agendas outside. There's people who have more money than us, and they have people who would like to see Grenada going another way. So as Grenadians, we have to make sure that, first and foremost, we are aware of what the issues are, and that we are willing to take the time off to contribute and to make sure that our voices are heard. So we've had, this now would be the fourth attempt
at constitution reform.
Changing the constitution.
Okay.
Because reform is another word. Reform signals that there is some plan, that there is some, there has been consultations among the broad masses, that people are informed with regards to what the changes are and what the implications would be. I don't want to call this a reform because, simply put, the people are not aware.
Okay.
The people have not taken part in the process. And we're seeing a particular group or groups of people sitting and making decisions and trying to come across as that reform.
Okay. Okay. Now, with that being said, all right, what are the key areas that are being pushed for reformation?
Okay, so in 2016, we had the first attempt of constitution reform. There were 6 bills presented to the people. And in the engagement, in the consultations, in the discussions around that proposal at the time, what we found in the civil society grouping was that every single bill went beyond the stated intent. So they would come to you and say, Rights and Freedoms Bill. But when you look at the actual bill that is being presented in front of the people, the Rights and Freedom Bill goes beyond the stated intent, and what we found that in every case, it ceded more authority to the government. And there's a simple rule for us in constitution reform, that if it gives power to the people, That's good. More power to the people, the ability that we can self-govern, we all for that. But once you cede in authority to the executive, it means that you are now being controlled again, as opposed to you being in control of your own destiny.
Okay, all right. So maybe as you just touched a narrative there that I like, the executive, and that refers to one arm
of government. Yes.
So the other arms of government, we have the executive, the legislative, and the
legislature, the executive, and the judiciary.
The judiciary. Yeah. Okay, so how would that site of reformation to put more power in the hands of the executive, how would that affect the everyday man?
Okay. In dealings, the executive is governed by laws, and they are they are the ones who enforce laws. And if those laws bridge your fundamental rights, infringe on fundamental rights and freedoms, then you can have problems. We saw bills being made into law. For instance, there was the issue of bail recently. An act was passed. As far as we know, bail is a direct jurisdiction of the court. The court uses its discretion as to who to grant bail and who not to grant bail. And for the simple reason that it is accepted in constitutional discussions that you cannot convict a person, you cannot sentence a person before you have convicted them. Right? You can't incarcerate somebody before you have brought them before the court and a decision is made in the court that they're guilty. You're now saying that once you're caught, right, you're going straight to jail. So the legislature now has usurped authorities that it was normally given to the court. And we have to guard against that kind of thing, because whilst our constitution gives the parliament the authority to pass laws, all laws must be consistent with the constitutional provisions, and that is the basis for our discussion today. Parliament can pass laws, but all laws must be consistent with the Constitution, and to the extent of the inconsistency, the laws are null and void.
Okay. So I am very certain that one member of my audience, Citizen Rolo, has been advocating for constitutional reform, especially in light of the fact that we still pledge allegiance to His Majesty now, King Charles and
heirs and successors
and so forth. Now, that to many people should become null and void. Okay? What is your organization's take on that?
Okay. In the ICR, the discussions are that our constitution is an arrangement. We were first an associated state. We were a crown colony first. We became an associated state. And as an associated state, our responsibilities, the rights, the privileges that were afforded us changed and then became independent in 1974. As a crown colony, the monarch and the British hierarchy made all decisions on our behalf. All decisions. As an associated state, that the arrangement changed. We were now responsible for internal affairs. Britain was responsible for external affairs. As an independent entity now, we are now responsible for both internal and external affairs. But it is an arrangement. So whilst we had an arrangement as an associated state with Great Britain, we now have an arrangement with the king, and as in King of Grenada. That is what the arrangement is. That arrangement is between the king and the people of Grenada. Right?
Okay.
So that arrangement can be changed at any time by going to the people and having a referendum.
Going to the people, meaning the nationals? The citizenry?
The citizenry.
Okay.
Right? And that is documented, it's codified in the Grenada Constitution. So if anybody, or if 2/3 of the people voting in a referendum to remove the king as the monarch, he's gone. If the monarch is removed, we now have to make arrangements for the duties that the monarch and his representative or governor general would have their responsibilities. Our Governor General has legislative authority, she has executive authority, and she has authority in her own prerogative that she makes the decision. She is the only person. She is head of the executive, she is head of the legislature, and she has authority in her own prerogative. Nobody else has that. So if we're doing reform, it is critical that all of these things are addressed uniformly and we make proper arrangements to replace the actions or the activities that the Governor General and by extension the King's representative is responsible for.
Now I'm going to ask I'm looking for personal edification here as well. Would you say it has benefited Grenada? And when I say Grenada, I am talking the citizenry of Grenada. Would you say it benefited us as a people to be under the monarch reign?
That is a question again for the people of Grenada to decide. I don't think that any one person should say whether we benefited from the relationship or not. If we want to change the relationship, if we want to reform the relationship, then there is a mechanism to do so, and it should involve all the people. It should not be that a particular group or a particular person comes to the Grenadian people and say, let's change. We have always advocated education around the process. So we were saying that there were 4 attempts to reform this is the 4th attempt, to reform the Constitution. And I use the word reform loosely with regards to this last attempt, because clearly it is a particular group coming forward with an idea, and they claim to have met with our political parties, the incumbent government and the opposition. We are not privy to that. We don't know whether that happened. And they claim that both political parties have signed on to this arrangement.
But then is it prudent, is it transparent that a move of such importance and significance is being made without the ordinary man knowing about it? It could be referred to as a destiny changer.
And it is. And in the context of our democracy, it's very regular, because this group is claiming to be a constitutional group. All right? And they have engaged with entities who our Constitution does not recognize. I don't know if you remember the 2016 referenda. There was an attempt to place the political parties into the Constitution that was rejected by the people. So they have embarked on a program of consultation with entities that as a people collectively was rejected, because it came to us in a referendum that political parties should be included in the reform, right? And they should have privileges as unions and associations, and that was rejected. So it bothers me the basis for their interpretation of what is happening and their role in the process of reform. They're trying to change the oath of allegiance. And the ICCR is clear on this. If you have to change the oath of allegiance, that affects critical aspects of our democracy. You have to come to the people. It must be a situation where you educate people and you have them make a decision. But there is seemingly this notion that, we're not educated enough to make decisions on our own. And we will reject that. These decisions, it is a critical part of our democracy. For our democracy to work, it is necessary that citizens are involved, that they are informed, that they are engaged, and that they participate.
So, having said that, is it a fair and just statement if someone was to say that move to change the aspects of the Constitution that you just mentioned that move to make that constitutional change, that move in itself is unconstitutional?
Well, if the operatives make the first claim that they have consulted with entities that are outside of the Grenada Constitution, and that these entities have signed on, right? There is an agenda that is outside of the Constitution. The people are the ones responsible to make the decisions.
So therefore, that makes it unconstitutional.
It makes it unconstitutional.
So
the attempt.
That's
and we have not gotten into the details as to what is being proposed.
And what is it exactly are they trying to get changed in the Constitution now? What is that move? What is that particular move about?
The move involves two schedules of the Constitution, Schedule 1 of the Constitution and Schedule 3, and one section, Sections 111. Well, there's and another section, Sections 39.5 of the Grenada Constitution. Sections 39.5, just to give you a little backdrop, sets up the context, the construct for constitution reform. And it indicates to you what has to be done by our parliament in order for you to reform the Constitution. It directs you to a schedule, Schedule 1, that entrenches certain sections of the Constitution. Schedule 3 defines the oath. Schedule 3 tells you what the oath is, and it does two things. It tells you what the oath is, and it tells you that there is a relationship between Schedule 2 and if I may read from Schedule 2 for you, just to indicate what the actual oath of allegiance is. And it goes like this. I, Dave Ned, do swear or solemnly affirm that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God. Schedule 3 includes another oath, the oath of office. And the oath of office says, I, Dave Ned, do swear that I would faithfully execute the office of whatever ministry is afforded, without fear or favor, affection or goodwill, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Grenada. Those are the two forms of oath. One oath speaks to execution of an office without fear or favor, affection or ill will. And that is the Constitution. That is the person taking the oath, talking to the Grenadian people. And they're swearing to that Constitution, which is controlled by the people, that this is going to be the relationship we have. There will be no fear, no favor, no ill will, etc. That's a people conversation. And then the first one, the oath of allegiance, is His Majesty is the King. And we know what his relationship was from the time we were colonial colonies, entities, right? Now, both oaths speaks to the arrangement. One, the oath of office speaks to the people. So when you're a public official and you go into an office, you talk to the people and you say, no affection, no ill will, etc., etc. And you swear allegiance to the king. So you take those two oaths. And it is the people and the king that oversee the operations of the constitution. If you want to change it, you come to the people. The king has that same authority that he can, by orders in council, he can change the relationship with Grenada.
Now to the ordinary man on the street, right? The man who is bent on his daily routine is get up in the morning, do his house chores, go to work from 8 to 4, come back, complete house chores, go to the whatever. How does these two oaths that you just spoke about
affect him?
How do they affect him?
That's a good question. And we don't have to look far. 2020, we had the COVID pandemic, and we saw actions taken that affected fundamental rights and freedoms. The police was given extraordinary powers, and people were asked to make decisions that were personal decisions. All right. That is the kind of there was never a law passed mandating you to take a vaccine, because according to the invasion of personal and private property is a decision that you must make, an informed decision that you must make. So those are the consequences. Because when our fundamental rights and freedoms, when you don't know your fundamental rights and freedoms first and foremost, you see what happens on the street almost daily in interactions with our enforcement arm of government. You see squabbles in the street with the police. You see the citizen taking action against the police. You see the police reciprocating and taking actions against the citizen. But all of those things are governed by laws. The police must have a legal cause to arrest you. And you see people resisting arrest and that sort of thing. And most of it stems from the fact that we don't know how to relate with the police. Right? Or rights and freedoms are encoded in the Constitution, but we don't know. So when we go out there and we react from an emotional standpoint, and emotional reactions are not necessarily the best ones.
So in essence, you're saying, for example, entities that during the pandemic said, you either take the vaccine or you don't have a job.
You don't have a job.
That was unconstitutional.
That was according to the labor code, unlawful, because the labor code in section 67, 69 directs that you cannot force a person to take an action that they have a legal right to do or not to do.
Okay.
You can't force them.
Someone wants to join in on the conversation, and I think that is healthy. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Good morning, Innocent, and good morning to my friend Mr. Ned.
Morning.
Mr. Ned is somewhat giving some. I listened to a program last night, Francis Alexis and you were leading. And I was looking for my constitution to follow, because they was actually taking you through the constitution to show you the aspect of what they were doing. I think it is somewhat now confusing that such such a program could have been aired on GBN, and now Mr. Ned is coming with a different perspective on the same station. To me, based on what I heard last night, and it was quoted from the Constitution, what is about to be done is not illegal. In my view, from what they said, and I say I was looking for my Constitution frantically, but I didn't get it. There are certain aspects of the Constitution that could be changed, but have to be changed by referendum. But this one does not govern by the referendum. My advice, though, because what is happening now is more confusing people than anything else. And I don't think GBN as the entity that is airing this sort of thing. I mean, yes, you want to have different sides, but I think on a program where both sides could be had, and you have the for or against, and people have a clear understanding as to what is happening. What is happening now, from what I heard last night, what I'm hearing this morning, is confusing. And I think GBN should try to correct that aspect of it, because I am one.
Hold on, caller. How do you expect GBN to correct that?
By calling a forum where that group that Mr. Ned is belonging to, and the group that Mr. Alexis is belonging to, who I think there's a lot of competent people there. I mean, Robert Ferguson, Francis Alexis, and Francis is a man that I don't. After what has happened in the previous constitution attempts, I have somewhat lost confidence in. But here is him quoting certain aspects of the Constitution. So, I mean, truth is truth. So what I would advise GBN to do is to call a forum, whether it's beyond the headlines or whatever, and where you have these two competing groups that they can able now to put their cards on the table. And at the end of the day, the people have a better understanding as to what is acceptable.
Okay.
Because what is happening now is confusing people. Trust me.
Okay. Thank you. Would you say that you all are competing groups?
I don't know that we are competing groups. We have always advocated that any reform to the Grenadian Constitution must involve the Grenadian people.
Okay. We have another caller.
There's no backdoor arrangement that you can get into the Constitution outside of genuine engagement with the people.
Let's take this other caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Good morning to you, Innocent.
Morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to the people of Grenada and to my friend, Brother Ned. Well, I was traveling yesterday and I was not involved. I didn't hear most of what happened. But what I would say is that we have to be careful about getting caught up in things in the periphery, and let's stick with the issue itself. And I joined with the previous caller that certain things do not require referenda. I think this requires education, public education on the issue. But the Constitution itself says that this can be changed. To me, we don't need a debate on this with the general public. 100% of Grenadians would happily see. If we do a poll, we can do a poll quickly. They want to get this changed. Are there implications about changing it? Negative ones to our country? If Mr. Ned could tell us what are the negative implications in making that phrase or clause a change, let us know what they are. But if it's just a matter of saying it must come from the people, right? To me, in the form of educating them, we don't need to spend resources on a referendum and doing something like this based on what the Constitution itself says. So I think what we want to know is that what are the implications of this, positive or negative? And does it require education of the population, or does it require a referendum from on this matter? And I think this is what we need to do. And let's not go around in innuendo and speaking on the periphery of the issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
Okay. Thank you, caller. And you've raised very important issues. the issue of education, and the issue of referendum. A proposal was made. You indicated that there was a program last night, and you have basically accepted what was said. And I may be wrong, but from what you're saying, I'm hearing that you have accepted what is being said as the truth, without any query. And we are seeing that there is another side to this. And I am speaking as to the periphery because it is necessary to bring people up to speed so that they can understand what is happening here is a technical something, right? And in order for you to understand as an ordinary person, we must lay certain foundations for you to understand. Because our perspective is that we want the citizen to understand what is taking place. Right? So we started talking about it. And Dr. Alexis is saying that you can amend Schedule 3. I read Schedule 3 for you, which is the oath of allegiance without referendum. And he's saying that you can do so because Schedule 3 is not a part of Schedule 1. Now, without data and some way somebody can see something in front of them, you can't process all of that at the same time. But to make it simple, it is established in sections in Schedule 3 that there is a relationship between Schedule 3 and a section called that interprets the Grenada Constitution, sections 111. It's there in black and white for everybody. He makes no reference to sections 111 in his discussions, right? And he says to us that if you go to Schedule 1 of the Constitution now, which contains all the entrenched provisions, you will not see Schedule 3. And that's not so. That is not so. So I welcome the call for education. I welcome the call for discussions because we are convinced that that is where it should begin.
Okay. All right. We do have another caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome. We seem to have lost that caller. Someone says, Innocent, the Constitution needs to be changed in Grenada to bring back the death penalty to curb this crime situation in Grenada. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
It's not necessary to change it. It's there.
There. Okay. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Mr. Joseph, greetings. How are you?
I am alive and thankful.
Mr. Ned, listen, we're wasting time. But I want to go down that road. I just want to follow up a bit on what Mr. Ned is saying there this morning. Education, etc., etc. The fact is, Grenadians know nothing about our Constitution. It's only recently that I worried about that, because I have nothing else to do. But hear this, Mr. Ned, my question to you. Last night I heard the Constitution guru referring indeed to the schedules. 1, 2, 3. You just outlined it there too. But what he outlined crystal clearly to us is that Schedule 1, Schedule 3 is not in the list of Schedule 1. Because apparently, according to him, not apparently, what I know too, is that there's outlined a list of the things that are entrenched and need to. Can you tell us indeed, Mr. Ned, whether or not, not me, the people, if in effect what Francis Alexis said is true, prove it to the people in the, put the point out, correct it. In other words, agree or disagree. Is Schedule 3 in the list Schedule 1? Thank you very much.
You may respond.
Okay. Dr. Rollo, I'm hoping that you have your Constitution in front of you this morning. And for those of you who have constitutions, I'm hoping that you're willing to take the time to open them. Okay? Dr. Alexis is clear. He says that Schedule 3, if you can, and if I remember correctly, he says you can search from now till thy kingdom come, and you will not find Schedule 3. All right, so I've searched. And I don't think that the kingdom have come. But we found Schedule 3. We found Schedule 3. And Schedule 3 is right there in front of us in bullet number 5, where it says sections 111 in its application to any of the provisions mentioned in the foregoing items. We have established that Schedule 3 is related to sections 111. Section 111 defines the oath of allegiance. So this is section 111 of the Constitution. It defines the oath of allegiance. And it says the oath of allegiance means the oath of allegiance set in Schedule 3, the same Schedule 3 that he says he doesn't see. So you don't see Schedule 3, but you see sections 111. And sections 111 is related. Simple. And I can't say what is going to happen when I step out, because the Lord is expected at any time. But as now, it's there.
Okay. A good friend of mine once said, when two elephants fights,
no.
Only the grass that gets trampled. You understand? Now, is there anything hindering, as one of the previous callers claimed or suggested, is there anything hindering the two parties, your organization, along with Dr. Francis Alexis's drive, to get some sort of commonality, so that in the final analysis, the ordinary man on the streets who will not take time off to read and comprehend the Constitution would know that these learned guys are working and mitigating on my behalf? Is there a possibility? Before you answer, good morning, caller. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome
and good morning to your guest. I just wanted to chip in here in regards to the proposed amendment to the Constitution. Our Constitution starts with, whereas the people of Grenada. As a younger citizen, one of the things that bothers me with this proposed amendment is where it is that if few individuals can convene, sit in a space, and decide to amend the Constitution for the masses, the many, whom this amendment will affect. And it bothers me, this undemocratic approach to the proposed amendment of the Constitution, which affects all of us, is very concerning. As a younger citizen, I want to take this opportunity to call on all of us, the 60% of us who identify as youth, to stand up and ask that our input and contributions be considered when any discussions around the amendment of the Constitution is proposed before a parliament. We need to have a sit at the table and decide the future we want. And we need to stop allowing the future to be decided for us. And while we appreciate Dr. Alexis and his colleagues' contribution over the years to national development, in particular in regards to the Constitution, I again caution and make a plea that the people, the input of the people be considered when discussing this proposed amendment. And I want to agree with Mr. Ned. Schedule 3, if you look at Schedule 1, which identifies the entrenched provisions of the Constitution, makes reference to Section 111, which has a direct correlation to Schedule 3, where the oath of office and the oath of allegiance are formatted. And if you look at Schedule 1, Section 111, it says the oath as set out in Schedule 3. I ain't no lawyer, but when you use the word as set out, it isn't an assumption. It's explicit. So for the proposal to that Parliament can amend that by a 2/3 majority is very alarming to me. Thank you.
That's a mouthful. But that shows a level of passion for how things are being done.
Of course, and the concern is that we are taking and making decisions that the people should make. Our parliamentary system is a representative system. So the politicians are supposed to be listening to what their representatives say. It's not their ideas that they should be going to parliament with. But when you say you sit with the representative, and the representative does not consult with his constituents, and he signs off on a thing saying that he agrees, because there's been no consultation by none of the political parties on this issue. There's been none. But they have signed off as Dr. Alexis claimed. I have not seen a document that says that they have signed off. But Dr. Alexis has made the claim that they have signed off. An unconstitutional entity signing off on a constitutional amendment.
Okay. We've got
and those who have the authority know nothing about it.
Okay. Meaning the constituents.
Meaning the constituents.
Okay. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Nicely done, Mr. Ned, sir. Thank you very much. Well, the Grenadian people, I suppose, thank you the same. This is why we have to have debate. But observe, brothers and sisters, the gurus are afraid of debate. They're afraid to come to talk to the people. You all know my position on this country because it's nothing but an established by Liverpool et al. Of 2002 is nothing but a pit-latrine pamphlet of an order in council of the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty that does not represent Grenadians. And we need a new constitution to run this country into the future. But we cannot permit these gurus unanimously to make decisions for us as they want. Who are they really? Where do they get the authority? You see, that's what they feel because the king brought them up. And the king continues to maintain the utterances and to protect the utterances because they're looking for KTBE's kowtowers to the British Empire, etc. Done with colonialism. Amendment to the constitution of a country has to be by firm participation of the people. Democracy is what we see. I support you on this, Dave, but remember, the full aim is a new constitution written by the people through a constituent assembly. But let's go. Let's get in battle. This land belongs to us. Thank you. Have a nice day, will you?
Thank you, Brother Rollo. And I am assuming now that you are now convinced because you have taken the opportunity to follow what was just said. And Dr. Rollo is you know, once he sees it in writing, he can interpret.
Okay.
And you realize that he has now changed his position that when he came on earlier.
Okay.
Once you get the information,
information is knowledge is power.
It's power.
Okay. Let's take this final caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Sorry to come back again, Innocent. But let me say that in the discourse last night with the two gentlemen who that group has proposed this thing, and a lot of people thought it was the government. He's not coming from the government. It is coming from a group of, well, which I would call them competent people, knowledgeable people. It was said that the same provisions is entrenched in other constitutions in the Caribbean. And they name the countries, and those countries have gone ahead and do the necessary changes without going to a referendum. My question is, if that is true, what's the difference in Grenada? And the last point before I go, people were elected into parliament to govern. When you elect a group, they are responsible for leading. And leadership means it doesn't always have to come from the people. Yes, if you are a leader and you have an idea, and you see it is fitting for your people, what is wrong in putting forward that idea? I mean, that is what leadership is all about, isn't it? And to criticize the move, because what was said that they went to Kit Mitchell as the leader of the then of the opposition then, and he agreed in principle. He said that is not an issue that should be made politics about. The present opposition leader has been visited and was submitted with the thing, and she has gone back to her team to give up a word on it. The government of the day has been approached as well, and other groups. What is the difficulty? That is what what is the difficulty? And I'm getting a general sense it is a power thing between the two groups. I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't speak loosely. Thank you.
Is it a power struggle?
There's no power struggle. The ICCR has been functioning in Grenada since 2018. We've advocated on several issues. We've met with the supervisor of education elections on a number of issues which we have outstanding now. They are, and that is the seat of our democracy. So we have advocated on constitutional issues. We don't cherry pick an issue and come to the public with it. We respond to the day-to-day concerns of the Grenadian people. And we have been on this program and other programs advocating on COVID, you name it. We have. So there's no power struggle. But I want to speak to a point that he made. You are elected to govern. The last time I checked, there's no elections to govern. You're elected to represent. And sometimes the language has us confused. The constituency must elect a member to the House of Representatives. That is the instructions in the Constitution of Grenada. So when these representatives turn leaders, we don't know. But that is what we have. That is what we have conferred on them, because we are not aware of what the process actually is.
And in that phraseology that you've used, that representative is supposed to present, because they're representing the wishes of the constituents. Listen, you're turning me into a politician, and Mr.
So this concept of leadership is constitutionally is flawed.
Okay, you know what I will endeavor to do? I will make a request to the management, and as the callers, previous callers intimated that we should get the parties who are involved and concerned to have a sit down, a big sit down, and maybe it might just have a paradigm shift in the way the approach is being made, because I am neither for nor against any of the groupings, but my personal opinion is that if something is going to affect me in a serious way, I think I want to know what are all the inputs. If you're going to, I am hypertensive, and if you are going to cook for me, I want to know what additives you have in the food, so that I would know what the adverse effects can be. And that's just my commonsensical thinking. So I in the final analysis, I really think that Grenadians, we need to get in the know. Do as much as you can, ask questions, read the relevant literature that is the Constitution. Let the Constitution and your Bible be your best friends. Okay? Because there is a generation gap. The guards are changing. Our older politicians are going home. We're seeing a trend where the younger politicians are gradually creeping in. And it's a new psyche out there. It's a different psyche to the one in the 1960s and 70s. Things are done differently. I mean, we see the advent of the younger politicians like the Deacon Mitchell, the Andy Williams, the Emmeline Pierre, the Kate Lewis, and it's a new era. And it's imperative that we as a people get in the know as to the trends and the do's and the don'ts and the things that are entrenched in our constitution, so that when certain people who are placed to represent us go offline, we can safely say that is off the course. So I think we really, education and knowledge is power. We really have to make a bid to educate and to be in the know as a people.
And to engage. Yeah. And engagement in the process is what is important. You don't listen to what happens in Parliament. But is in Parliament the decisions are made. Yeah. So how could you not listen? If an act of Parliament goes into law, it is in Parliament, it happens.
Right.
And ignorance is not, so you have to be engaged.
Okay, so like I said, Mr. Ned, I will engage management and see how we can make that happen. Maybe it will be in the form of a special program, extended program to get the ideas and the cross ideas and so forth together. So that
it can be a series of programs.
Yeah, but I think the direction to go is education.
It's education.
And we are going to endeavor and embark on that. So, any parting words?
Well, I just want to thank GBN again for the opportunity that they have given us as a group that we can air these concerns. GBN has always been very accommodative and in getting the view out. So we just want to say thank you, and we want to urge the Grenadian people that you really need to pay attention to your business.
Say it locally. Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business.
You need to mind your business. Nobody. You must sit down, analyze, sit with your father, your family, your daughter who goes to SGU, or your son who just come back with a master's degree, and discuss this. It's not rocket science. If you can read and write, then you're supposed to be able to understand this constitution.
Right.
And by and large, that is so. If you can read, you can write, you can understand what is written in front of you.
Okay.
You don't need any. This is the rules that you're supposed to live by. So if you can understand the rules that you're supposed to live by, something wrong with the rules.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Ned, thank you for sharing with us this morning, and to our viewers and listeners, we do appreciate your engagement and involvement, and we do hope that this conversation this morning and the previous conversations that were had with Dr. Alexis and all the other people who are, in this constitutional thing, I do hope that it has been a stimulant to you to start wanting to know more and exploring and researching and studying more, so that we can have a good conversation when the time comes and we do have the gurus, as Citizen Rolo likes to call it. All right, we will have a conversation on this. Mr. Ned, again, thanks you for sharing with us.
Thank you so much.
Folks, that's it for the extended version of the conversation this morning. We will be back after these messages. Don't you go anywhere.